What's up, y'all? Today we have co-founder, founder, and CEO of TIPA, which is a company that specializes in creating environmentally friendly, biodegradable packaging for companies that are producing everything that we consume in the world. Daphna, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, so where are you guys based? I think this is exciting that we're speaking to somebody from across the world.
Yes, so actually the headquarters and the company's original place is Israel. We started here, but today we have presence in 3 continents, in Europe, in North America, and in Australia.
Is travel a big part of your routine as CEO?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
really?
My routine for sure, but not only mine, also other people here.
Your team,
but yes, it is, of course.
How often do you find yourself in Israel versus in other countries day to day?
So I would say if I look at it monthly, so I would say 2 weeks I'm here, 2 weeks I'm overseas, out of a month. Yeah.
Yeah, is that hard, like with a family and everything, or are you able to manage it?
I've been able to manage it, but it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But that's part of my job, and I like it.
That's true. So now that you've been running the business for like over 10 years and you've raised like, 123 million, which, by the way, was it intentional that the dollar amount was 123, or did that just come as a result of it?
Just no, nothing was planned there.
Cool. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm just saying, if we were trying to do that, we wouldn't be able to achieve that. But those type of things achieved, without intention.
Is that your philosophy broadly? Like, or are you sort of more goal oriented? Like, you set a goal, you achieve it. Is that how you operate the business?
Yes, that's how I operate the business. Of course, there are opportunities and challenges and risks on the way, but we have a goal and we're totally focused on the goal. But we also, as a startup, we tend to stay flexible and understand what are the needs, what are the trends, do we need to do any changes or recalculating our routes, etc., etc. So we definitely keep our eyes open there as well.
So after 10 years of operating, what made you decide to take outside capital?
No, we raised capital from day one.
I see. Okay, this was just public. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. That's cool. Your background is in sort of sustainable packaging and materials engineering, or it seems to be in something different, right?
Yeah, totally different, actually. Yeah. My background is software.
Okay.
I grew up in the software industry. My experience in education was in the first years of my career in software engineering. I also served in the Israeli Navy. In
cool.
Israel, women and men serve in the Israeli Army. So I was in one of the elite units in the Israeli Army, dealing with software. So I have vast experience in the software industry, both in the Navy and then in the professional market and outside market as well. But then after a few years, I decided to do something else. And that's where the story starts. Yeah.
What do you think you sort of gained in terms of extensible skills from your time in service, from your time previously in software? Like, any lessons that you brought from your software background to your current business?
Yeah, definitely. And I think also this experience is part of the success of TIPA. I was educated, and it's part of being in this market, to always think what is the right solution. Sometimes it needs to be out of the box. Don't think as the conventional market thinks, or everyone thinks, or this is what is acceptable or not. This is what acceptable in the market. Let's do the same. So part of developing solutions, and that's what software engineers do, is think differently and think out of the box. Try to bring a new solution, and it's the same approach that I had when first I started to think about the plastic problem. So it's not a matter of doing the same, but in a better way. It's a matter of doing something else, thinking differently. And if we talk, for example, on packaging, so if the market goes always and thinks always and kind of directs the solutions over to conventional plastic and recycling, I said to myself, well, this doesn't work, obviously. We all see that. It doesn't work. So, and I believe that in a few years' time, we'll need a solution that is different than what the industry was doing back then and still does today. And that's where the thinking out of the box came. So I said to myself, let's look, what is the most intuitive way we discard waste? And the first thing that came to my mind was an apple, because when I eat an apple and I throw the residuals to the waste bin, it just kind of disintegrates and biodegrades by itself, right? And I also looked kind of at nature. So what did nature do? Nature packed with compostable materials that kind of disappear, decompose, and turn to a new resource post-consumption after we use it. For example, if we eat an orange and the peel is the package, and then post-consumption it turns into compost, a new important resource. And that was the idea. And so again, if I go back to my background, I said to myself, okay, we need to think differently. Another way that we've been going in the last 50, 70 years, we've been using plastic packaging. So that's one thing. And I can say that the other thing that I was kind of brought up on, it's never take no as an answer. There are challenges. There are going to be challenges. Just find a way how to deal with those challenges and solve it. And this is part of the culture of what I brought to the company.
That's awesome. So I'm sure when you guys started the company, there was probably a significant amount of market resistance to the idea, not in concept, but maybe in execution, because it's never been done before. How did you kind of overcome some of those objections?
First of all, packaging, it's flexible packaging. It's quite a complex technology.
Yeah.
It's not straightforward and not an easy one. Definitely when you want to provide a solution, a perfect solution that emulates conventional plastic, so with the same properties, same good part of plastic package, but at the same time based on new materials. Now, the role of a package is to pack the goods, and we had to do it the best way, right? To make sure that we provide the same quality as current packaging. In order to do that, and plus we had to manufacture it. So we had to manufacture it, sell it, make sure that the end consumers are satisfied, understand which segments we're targeting within a huge market, etc., etc. So there were all those fronts were open. We had to be creative on all those fronts: manufacturing front and consumer front, shelf life, the visibility and printing on packages, etc., etc. So what we did is we focused on territories, focused on specific products, and start to grow from there. And went step by step. At the beginning, we had kind of to find the manufacturers or producers that are willing to try new materials on their machines, which was a challenge as well. But we allocated those partners. We had kind of promise both sides on how to go to market together. We had to make a few changes in this. So it wasn't easy, as I was saying, but There were a few transactions and changes there, but eventually today I can gladly say that we manufacture our films. I mean, the raw materials, the films, reels of films, in three continents. We convert the films to packaging in 3 continents. So we managed to overcome the operational challenges and the go-to-market part of the challenges. It's not easy today as well, but of course we're in a different place.
That's really inspiring. And I mean, you guys have a fairly pretty complex business. I think software is pretty easy. You put some people in a room, then the thing comes out on the web, and the distribution's pretty straightforward. So, Israel is known for having a lot of sophistication around science and technology, particularly in, let's say, like internet companies. I know Fiverr's based there, and they're great guys. But does Israel have a lot of sophistication? I mean, I guess it now does around material science and manufacturing, or did you have to go out of the country to start, building prototypes?
Look, I'm sure that we can find talents other places as well, but there are great talents in Israel in terms of material science. The general industry of material science and food and food products has been growing extensively in the last few years, which is great. So it's more than just software, different kinds of software and cyber, etc., etc. It's newer, but there are also great minds here. Same as software.
That's cool. Yeah. And I'm sure like a lot of the R&D around material science probably has initially a defense application and then gets commercialized. And so there's probably a lot of different talent there that's actually been developing for probably, last 50 years or something like that. So
yes,
that's cool.
Exactly.
Very cool. Okay. So talk to me about like day one of starting your company. Was it just you? Did you have like friends that you kind of persuaded to come join you on this mission? How did you like start the business? And such a complex business.
I kind of had this idea, and the first steps are to investigate what's out there in the market. I just didn't know. I'm not coming from this industry.
Sure.
And I met my co-founder back then. Actually, we met at the kindergarten. And
wow, okay.
Yeah, and we started investigating and going in this direction of developing a solution. And there were assumptions that were out there in the beginning, and then we understood that it's not exactly what we thought, so we had to change, etc., etc. We made sure from day one to work with people that are experts in the industry, although those kind of, let's say, consultants are pretty expensive, but we worked only with top people from the industry to kind of expedite the understanding of what's in the market, what the market needs, how to work in this market, etc., etc. And during this journey, when I grew the company, made sure to work with people who really believe in the solution. This is kind of almost the first parameter, because it's not an easy journey, but we have to make sure that we work as a group, because it creates a huge effective synergy, and plus the people who will go as a troop force to the market with us need to believe in the solution. So I'm glad to say that I've been working with the same people for many years now. We've built here a beautiful group of people that believe in the solution, that will do everything to succeed. It hasn't been easy, and it's not going to be easy. I hope one day it will be easy, which will mean the market is definitely going in that direction, but we're still in in early stage. But it's crucial to have good people, who understand the market, but mainly support one and the other. And I can say that in many junctions when I had to make decisions, that was one of the most powerful things I had to support me. The people that work here.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So what are some of like your company values? Do you believe in like being values driven, that sort of thing? You know, in San Francisco, do you have a wall with like company values? It's very common in tech startups. So I'm wondering if
No, we don't have such a thing, but definitely we have values.
yeah.
My first value is people, because people are need to be heard, listen, but they're also the keys to success. So every person is an important person, and every person can contribute in his or her field of expertise. And it doesn't matter if it's the CEO or it's the engineer. It doesn't matter. That's one thing. The second value is the value, of course, of keeping this beautiful gift that we got, our nature, our earth, etc., etc. So we believe that the solution of the compostable solution is the right one for the flexible packaging market, and we don't do other things. Although, in the journey, there were people who said, "Okay, just do this or do that or do something a bit different, and you gain huge part of the market," etc. I said, "No, the mandate we got is to do the right thing for the world, is to bring the best solution, compostable solution to the packaging industry, and to make sure that we grow." And so those principles kind of that principle and principle of being a company with values, that's what has been driving us forward.
How do you think that you gained like such a laser focus on taking care of like the environment? It seems bizarre that only such a small subset of our population actually cares about that. Is there something that you grew up with, or you just, I don't know, found it to be a good opportunity?
I haven't brought up, grew with this environment, and it's definitely not in Israel, but or I would say it wasn't a focus when I was a child. It's kind of been in the kind of a subject that is dealt here. I would say in the last 10 years or so, maybe 15 years. But I can definitely share. First of all, it all started with I understood that it's kind of complex to take care of packages post-consumption. Where do I put it? Do I recycle it, etc., etc.? And then it all started from a discussion I had with one of my children around the plastic bottles they used to take to school back then.
Yeah.
And I said to myself that it doesn't make sense, because I know that each piece of plastic is actually not going anywhere. It's going to stay here for hundreds of years. So that's it. That's how it all started. But once I started to go in this direction or journey or path of understanding what is the main problem, I just understood the numbers. And suddenly, like I put glasses on my eyes. I said, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing as humanity? What are we doing? We're kind of littering and leaving the litter to someone else to take care of. And as much as I continue to drill down into that, I understood the size of the problem and the lack of solutions, and the fact that we keep being told that recycling is going to solve it all. And oh my God, we've been trying to recycle for 20 years and nothing happens. So what are we thinking to ourselves?
Yeah.
And all that, brought me to the stage that to the level of enthusiasm on bringing a different solution to the world. I think it was much easier for us to go with recycling if we decided to. Maybe the company was in a different place. It was much easier for me to go and to do other things in my career. But I decided to do that because I think that's the right thing. That's it. Now, as individual, I need to consume plastic today. There's no alternative. I mean, for everyone. And it's a revolution that's going to happen, and it's not going to happen in one day. It's going to be hard for everyone. But if we keep doing the right thing, eventually it will happen. Now, we prepare this discussion. You ask me what is the meaning of TIPA, and I said a droplet. Now, and I'm talking about persistency right now. So I can say that part of the meaning of TIPA is that one drop cannot change a rock, but a drop and another drop and another drop and another eventually will change the shape of even a rock. So persistency and keep doing the right thing. That's for me a key value.
That's awesome. Okay, so how'd you guys come up with the name?
The first discussion with my children was about the bottle. Let's replace the bottle.
Yeah.
And I was pretty innocent back then. I thought to myself, what's the problem? Let's take compostable materials. Let's invent kind of a cool package to replace bottles.
Totally.
Throw it away and it will disappear. And the idea was to create, to invent kind of a pouch in the shape of a droplet to replace the plastic bottles. I would say 6 months after, I understood that the main problem are not the bottles, because bottles probably can be recycled, but it's more flexible packaging and so on and so forth. But we decided to stick with the name TIPA until today even, because first of all, it's very easy to pronounce. There are few meanings, which, I just talked about two, but there are more meanings to the word TIPA, and it's kind of, this is who we are.
So you guys are headquartered in Israel, but are based in North America, in Europe, you said, and then the third. Australia. Okay. That's awesome. And so, when you think about distribution and you think about new markets, or are these places more so manufacturing spots where you guys build products?
It actually connects me to one of the questions you just asked me about what do I bring as coming from the software industry to this business. So we kind of an operational business model that is not common in the packaging industry, and I actually kind of borrowed it from the software industry or semiconductors industry. So I wanted to be able to see our solutions spread around in a viral way, like software. Right. Software is easy. You just send it, email it, and you copy. That's the duplicate. But we're talking here about a tangible product. I mean, a product that needs to be manufactured. Therefore, from day one, I made sure that we can manufacture all our products on conventional plastic machinery. And we are fabless. So we have the technology. We find the right partners in each territory. We manufacture our films and the packages in each territory. So we started in Europe. We've been manufacturing, we do toll manufacturing. That's taken from other industries. We don't have our machines. We don't have our factories. We don't have but we do manufacture the films, which are the basis for packaging. Now in Germany, in the last 5 or 6 years, this year started in North America and in Australia. So we manufacture locally our films and then convert it into packaging, again, with partners on the ground in each territory. So that's the fabless model. It has its benefits and challenges. But overall, we want to make sure the benefits of this model is, first of all, as you've been asking me, we can manufacture wherever we want. We have to allocate the right partner. We have to run trials. We have to kind of certify the partner. But it's much faster and doable than buying facilities, et cetera, or installing machines. So that's one thing.
Right.
The second thing is we collaborate with the market. We don't go against the market. We collaborate with the market, with companies who manufacture today conventional plastic and also manufacture compostable packaging. So that's the second stage of opening doors for us. And also very important, we manufacture locally. So we reduce carbon footprint. And I can continue explaining the benefit of this model, but that's how we operate, and that's how we've been managed to grow.
Keep going. What are some of the benefits of that approach? I mean, there's less transaction costs. It's probably more capital efficient. You get people understand the markets.
It's more capital efficient. It opens opportunities for us as well with the manufacturers, because they have their own customer base, and so we can sell, and where we manufacture, they can sell as well. I mean, our partners' sales force. It also, there's also a challenge of getting priority on other people's lines. But we solve that with our partners, and it gives us the opportunity to grow and not be tightened to a specific machine. More technologies are open for us. We can manufacture, for example, I say 3 layers, 5 layers, and other films, blown film, cast films. I know it doesn't necessarily say something to you or the audience, but those are we can use wider technologies to manufacture our products, which brings different properties. So it's a model that works for us. Not everybody understands this model, but the main thing that we gained from it is that we manufacture today in 3 territories, in 3 continents, close to our clients, with a huge potential. And also, I'm very much satisfied to see that companies who manufacture conventional plastic want to manufacture our products. And the fact that we open doors for everyone enables us to do this. So that's kind of the viral growth I was dreaming about. We still have to grow. We're not there yet. But
but it's less friction.
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool. So, I tend to think that the software ecosystem is, maybe people will disagree with me, but fairly meritocratic. Like, it's a new industry. Mostly people want to do business with companies that are growing fast, and relationships don't matter. Like, they're not entrenched yet in the software industry. In manufacturing, particularly with plastics and plastic alternatives, do you feel like this industry is more relationship driven? Are there very long partnership cycles where people work with each other for a very long time, or are relationships more transactional? Like, how do you navigate the complex web there?
It's definitely a different industry than software. Yeah, it is different. Yes, it's based on relationship. Look, it's first of all, just to understand, it's an industry of over $1 billion annually, globally. Very diverse industry. So there are small manufacturers, mid-sized manufacturers, big manufacturers, giant manufacturers. There are companies from $10 million to $15 billion. Okay, the packaging manufacturers. So it's a huge industry with different types of companies and different types of clients, of brands. So it's a bit different. I mean, the relationships are a bit different with small companies and bigger companies, but definitely the bigger ones are very much relationship based.
So a long time ago, I think I'm actually under NDA, but I don't think they'd mind if I say this. A long time ago, maybe 2019, 2020, like pre-pandemic, we were talking to Fiverr, which I think is 20, 30 minutes down the street. And they reached out to us and they wanted us to fly to Tel Aviv, and just, with basically the world shutting down, we didn't end up working together. But I really like those guys, have a lot of respect for those guys. They've built a tremendous business. And it seemed, one thing that I took away from them is that in Israel, it seems like there's a lot of knowledge transfer And a lot of companies want other companies there to succeed. And a lot of the founders connect. And there's a really well-developed ecosystem. Do you feel that in your business and where you're working? Like you have a lot of other founders to connect with and a lot of other folks to talk shop with?
Yes, first, I mean, this industry is quite a wide industry. I mean,
Yeah.
let's call it the early stage companies in Israel, the startups
Yeah.
company, innovation is very, in our field, in packaging and sustainability, the market is pretty new. I mean, we were kind of pioneers in this field. Today there's more. The packaging alternatives, it's not a huge industry, not in Israel, but there's more. We support each other, the founders or entrepreneurs. It's not on a daily basis, but there are forums, there are kind of meetings that take place to support one another. Yes, it's kind of, the whole environment is an environment that understands what is an entrepreneur, what are the challenges, what do we need, does the government support, and the beginning of the way, etc., etc. So, since this industry is kind of wide in Israel, there is a support. Still, being a leader and a CEO, it's a challenge.
Yeah, you're the tip of the spear,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Okay, so how did you like learn everything that you know about the market? Just given your background, did you have advisors? Did you just learn as you go?
As I said at the beginning, I made sure we kind of recruit the best people in the market, so to bring knowledge into the company, and there was a kind of a fast track to learn what we do, what we need to do, how the market behaves, what we want to do the same, what we want to do differently, and so that's now as the company continues to grow and things change. We had to kind of sometimes bring more knowledge, different knowledge to the company, and there are kind of two fields of expertise that are needed here. One of them is in the packaging industry. The second one is the materials, and the third one is how to build interactive company or a different company that can really make a change. Disruptive.
Yep,
That's the word
right.
I was looking for. Disruptive company that can really make a change. As I said, the people in the company and the board members and the advisors that we had kind of contributed a lot to the company's growth. If we could do things differently, of course we could. There's always what if.
Of course. Yep. Totally. Every day in the morning, yes. I'm like, I wonder if we had done that differently. What would it be like? Yeah.
Sliding doors. Do we want to go this or that?
Yeah. It seems like building your team and getting these different types of expertise was really important to the company's success and future success as well. What are, as you do recruiting, maybe you're not involved so much in the day-to-day recruiting of the line engineers and such, but what are some heuristics that you use to make a good hire across your business?
So, of course, knowledge is important.
Yeah.
We make sure that the person is the right. I mean, the experience or knowledge that is needed. The first parameter is personality.
Yeah.
First of all, if the person is in the company's DNA, and then if he or she has the desired know-how, knowledge, etc. And then we kind of, we try for both sides to set up meetings as many as we can. before recruiting, to understand, to put everything open on the table and say, this is the company, those are the benefits, those are the upsides, and those are the downsides. Those are the challenges. This is what we don't have here, more what we don't have rather than what we have. Challenge the desire to join us. But sometimes it just, does the opposite. People really want to join us after they understand all the challenges.
Yes.
But yes, and we made mistakes, and we also made very good recruitments. So it's there are some successes, some failures. I think there's no one formula, but for me, it's really important to meet a person in person, not over Zoom. Meet person in person, sit in the same room, have even 1 hour discussion, and that's a lot.
What do you think the difference is in terms of meeting in person versus in Zoom? I have some ideas, but I'm curious about your take on it.
It's the body it's body language, which is kind of that's the main thing for me, body language. And behavior over Zoom is different than behavior being in the same room. So what do the persons say? How they enter the room? What is the interaction between in the beginning, at the end of the meeting? Asking hard questions, it's easier to answer over Zoom. That's what I think. So it's mainly body language, I would say.
Have you ever, I don't know how much you can disclose about this, but have you ever hired somebody over Zoom and then you met them in person and you were just like, I think we made a mistake? Or let's not even say at work, in any context. You've met somebody over Zoom, they seemed great, and then you meet them in person and they're not so great.
And no, because I don't think I hired over Zoom. I made sure I meet the people who report to me. We did hire over Zoom.
One observation that I've made is, we've hired over Zoom a bunch, especially during the pandemic, and it's kind of our business, but I have met people in real life. And the one thing that I notice is it's very hard to tell height over Zoom.
Yes.
Right. And then you meet somebody and you're like, dude, this guy's huge. Right.
Yes.
Or you meet somebody and you're like, this person is 6 inches smaller than I expected.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that happens a lot. Yeah.
And it shifts the energy perception almost of kind of how they interact with people, that's been a very interesting dynamic.
Yes.
In the Zoom world.
Height, yes, but height is not a parameter for me.
Yeah, of course. But but there is a thing where, I don't fully understand this, but I think people's social confidence, this is not a question, it's just an observation, so pardon me for indulging myself, but I think somebody's social confidence can affect, in a group setting, their ability to arrive at a solution.
Self-confidence is it's a huge parameter in the personality.
Yeah, totally. I to your point, I do think it's easier to be more confident over Zoom.
Yes.
Right. In a way, easier to be more rude too.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems so interesting because you guys have to have recruiting capability across the three. How to build tight operations, how to engineer new materials, how to do packaging. And so it's like 3 distinct functions.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. What's been the biggest challenge in scaling? Is it the R&D part, or is it just getting all the operations tight so you can operate across the different territories effectively?
Yeah, it's all fronts. It's it's mainly operations and sales. So to get the right clients, to sell the right product, and to manufacture it. So those are the main kind of creating a system that works integrally with all different parts of it to be integrated rightly and to be able to generate the demand and to fulfill the demand. Yeah, it is a challenge. It's a doable one, but it is a challenge, and part of it we learn on the way.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's also like probably at least what our board cares the most about discussing. It's like I want to bring up all these R&D questions that we're trying to answer. They're like, okay, well, how's the operations and how's the sales doing? And it's like, okay,
Yes.
yeah, we
Yeah.
can talk more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for your company? Where are you guys going? Where are you guys headed? You guys going to raise 1 billion, 100 million, 23 next?
Yeah, our target is to grow and to make sure that the viral growth actually happens. And once the usage of our materials will grow, everything else will come. So, I always look on what is the right thing, the right thing that we need to look for. And now we need to look for expanding the usage of our technology as much as we can in the right way, of course. And then the rest will come. The money, the size, all that.
Yeah, but, that's all an outcome. Yeah. Do you guys sell into companies that are creating packaging for their products? That's the main consumer.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Have you guys ran like public awareness campaigns for the problem, or do you guys feel like the problem is understood well enough?
No,
cool.
It's not understood. I mean, it's not understood. No, not at all. And we've been doing it since, I don't know, the last, I would say, few years, 6 years, 5 years. We've been doing that, kind of spreading the problem. Look, we're not a huge company, so we cannot educate the market.
Right.
But we can definitely increase the awareness.
This is a more selfish question. How do you guys, as an operator, how do you measure the efficacy of campaigns like that versus just things that are very attributable to growth? Do you ever think about that, or do you just allocate a budget and you're like, go figure it out?
We allocate a budget, and no, we measure it. Online. It's easier to measure.
Yes.
Because then we can, and we do almost everything online, if not 100% online. So we measure, all the indexes that are measurable, with campaigns, with ads, with articles, with opinion articles, with any activity that we do. We measure the interest and what turns out of each such activity. Yeah, that's what the marketing team does.
Yeah. I find it hard. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around like awareness campaigns for us in particular, because you can directly attribute ad spend to more like inbound leads. It's very easy. Whereas with a banner or a sponsorship of a conference, you're kind of like,
we don't do that. No, we don't do sponsorship of conferences.
Yeah.
No, we don't. Yeah. As I said, we do online. We do public relations. I mean, so we publish articles, etc. And we do social media in general. We participate in exhibitions, etc. But that's all measurable because we measure the leads that come in and eventually the POs.
Totally.
Totally.
It's all about POs.
It's all about POs.
Yeah. What's some of your advice to other founders that are working in the sustainability sort of industry that probably have complex businesses? It's not a lot of, I mean, it seems like tech people are more vocal, but folks that are working outside of the direct software industry are not yet. So I'm curious what your advice is.
First of all, stick to your goal. I mean, to the core mission of the company. Of course, understand and sense the market and if things change, but keep doing what you believe needs to be done. or what you believe is the mission, and be patient because it takes time. It doesn't pay back as software, and it's not in the pace, not in the timeline, but it is a mission, which is important, of course, for every company. It depends on the company. Believe in what you do, because if you and your team believe in what you do, then you do it rightly, and you really, and you can grow the business. That's my observation. Maybe there are other people who have different observations, but you have to know what your target is, and go directly to and keep focusing on what you do. At the same time, keep options open and be flexible, because you're like a speedboat. If you need to change the direction of the course, just do it, but still go to the same direction, but the same mission, the same goal. So it's being focused and flexible. It's being sensitive to what happens in the markets, but at the same time keep pushing your solution. Insert changes if they are needed, and build your team. The team is eventually the success factor.
Well, where can people find you, find TIPA on the interwebs?
Our website is www.tipa-corp.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Daphna. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Frontier Podcast powered by Gun.io. We drop 2 episodes per week, so if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe on your platform of choice and come hang out with us again next week, and bring all your internet friends. If you have questions or recommendations, just shoot us a Twitter DM at The Frontier Pod, and we'll see you next week.